Hi, welcome to another craft video from the Kansas City, Kansas Public Library. I'm Cheryl and I'm in charge of the craft kits at the main library. And today's video is to accompany a kit that we'll be giving out starting March the 1st, 2024. But if you're watching this later on our YouTube channel, don't worry. I'll tell you everything you need to purchase to make a craft like this yourself. So the project we're making today is this adorable little chalkboard. It's a hanging chalkboard. It goes on your wall, and it is made from a little miniature cutting board that I found at a craft store on the clearance section. You can do this project with anything that has a hole so that you can hang it on the wall and that has a flat surface, because it's done using a special type of paint called chalkboard paint that will turn any flat surface into a chalkboard. Alright, so what's in the kit, or what you'll need to buy if you don't have the kit, is first of all something to make the chalkboard out of. Now we're using these little miniature wooden boards that I picked up last year around Easter time for on sale. That's why they have little carrots, but you can use anything that is flat and that has a hole in it. It just needs to be a smooth surface, and it needs to be flat for hanging on the wall with a hole. You're going to have a about a foot long of cord. This is just to thread through the hole to hang it on the wall. This is chalkboard paint, and it looks like this. You can buy it at the craft store. Chalkboard paint is a special paint that you paint on something, and once you get a couple of little coats on it, and let it dry, the surface actually becomes a chalkboard. So you'll get some of that. A foam brush to paint it on with, and you don't need much of this because we're doing a small area. This is some ribbon to decorate with. We are going to glue this all along the outside edge like this. And then some glue. This happens to be E6000 glue. When you buy E6000 glue, it comes sealed because this stuff does dry out very quickly. And what you'll have to do with these little containers is that there's a little, I don't know if you can see, there's a little pokey piece in the back of the lid. You will take this off, turn it around, and break the seal, poke it down and break the seal with that. And you're also going to have a plain piece of white chalk. You will also need a pair of scissors to cut the extra ribbon with. Alright, so let's get started. With the paint, it has a tendency to separate, so if it's separated, you can just make sure the lid's on tight, and you can just shake it up like this really well. Just be careful when you open it up again, because there's going to be paint all over inside then. There we go. So now we're ready to paint. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 2 layers. Now I've already done 1 layer here on this one as a demonstration, because you do want to do 2 layers, and you're going to let it dry an hour in between the layers. This thing has to be completely dry, 100%, before you put the next one on. And the first layer you're going to do up and down. The second layer you're going to do side to side. You must make sure and do 1 layer one way and 1 layer the other way. And just a nice even coat. No gloppiness. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to let that dry for an hour, another hour, so that I can handle it before I glue on the ribbon. So I'm going to go wash my brush out, and I'll set this aside to dry, and we'll come back when it's dry. Okay, so it is dry to the touch now. I've got my 2 coats on and it's dry. Now I'm going to decorate around the outside with my ribbon. So if you have a ribbon that is just colored or plain or something, you can just start gluing it down here and glue it all the way around and then finish up down here and then cut the excess off with your scissors. This one happens to be one directional. So if I went down this direction, the hearts would be right side up, but if I go to the other side, the hearts will be upside down. Now that's perfectly fine if that's what you want to do, but I'm going to do it so that they are right side up on both sides, which means I'm going to have to cut it and splice it together up here. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom in the center. I've already broken the seal of my glue, and I'm just going to run a line of the glue like that and center it here. I'm going to do that all the way till I get up to the top. Right now when it gets up to the top, I can cut it. Okay, I'm going to glue that part down. Now I'm going to do the same on the other side. And when we get up to this part, I am going to trim it just a little bit longer. And I am going to put some glue there like normal, and then I'm going to also put a little glue on the end here underneath, because I don't want that ragged edge. I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold the end down and glue it down that way. That way I have a nice edge that won't unravel. Make sure that I didn't pull up these edges. If you pull this top too tightly, the sides here might actually start lifting. Now what I need to do is I need to let this dry for 24 hours. So set this aside somewhere. Just to let you know that this glue does have a little bit of a fume. So you might want to set it somewhere aside or somewhere where there's some good ventilation, because it does have a very strong, a fairly strong odor. But it is a very strong glue. Now if you're buying your supplies and doing this at home, if you're buying with your own supplies, you can actually just use hot glue for this part. And then if you have a little bit extra left over, you can use this and tie a ribbon. Tie a bow. You can also decorate these with little silk flowers that you can glue on, or you can paint this with a different color of paint, just as a decorative thing. The part we're going to be using as the chalkboard is this. All right, so I'm going to let this dry completely for 24 hours before I come back and prep the surface. Okay, so we have gotten the chalkboard painted and everything's ready and it's dry, and all of the glue is dry, so we're going to put on the hanging cord to hang it with. So you're just going to thread that through the holes and tie a knot. And how big you make the loop is up to you. I've just added a lot of cord just in case you want a long loop. And then that's your hanging loop. Now we have one more thing we have to do before we use the chalkboard. Chalkboard has to be primed. So this is when you're going to take your piece of chalk and you're going to just cover the entire thing with a layer of the chalk. And I like to rub it in there. Then you're going to take something like a paper towel or your eraser, and you're going to wipe that off. That primes the chalk paint to now be a chalkboard. Now you can use this as a hanging memo board, things to buy. You can hang this up and put your shopping list on it. So as you run out of things, you could put eggs and milk. And then when you've purchased it, of course, then you can wipe it off just like any other chalkboard. And that's all there is to it. So thank you for viewing another craft video from the Kansas City, Kansas Public Library. I'll see you next time. Bye.